Okay. So we're getting ready for yoga on this Saturday morning. So I'm just gonna let everyone in and get this space. We will start in Shavasana. So you can just lie on your back, on the floor, on your mat. So we are starting in Shavasana. And so the interesting thing with doing this online is that I can't actually see you. If you are on Instagram, good morning. Good morning, Sean. And good morning. Yeah, so on Instagram I can see that you're coming on, who's there. On Facebook I can't see it. I can see how many people are watching, but I can't actually see who is watching. But if you will write a note in the comments, then I can see who's there. Maybe let me know how you're feeling. I don't know if I can actually, I might just leave it like this for now, but I wonder if I can see it on the computer, if I look on the computer. But we are starting here at 11, so in a minute or two. So if you're joining us, we'll start in Shavasana. And I'm just going to see on the computer while I'm here if I can actually see any other information. It might just make something very strange. But if you're on Facebook, just say hello and how you're doing, so I can see who's on the call. And I think I'm just going to leave it with this. I'm not going to go on the computer. It's getting too complicated for me. This is enough technology. So yeah, so if you're on Facebook, just say hello. And we're starting in Shavasana. So if you are pregnant, if you're joining the call and you're pregnant, you can do side-lying Shavasana. So you can just lie on whatever side is comfortable for you. Usually we say lie on the left side in pregnancy. So you might start like that. And just take a few moments just arriving on the mat, arriving into this space. I think one of the lessons maybe at this time is to really just to be in a rest mode when we can. And for those of us, like myself, who's certainly been given all this time, because aside from doing this online, I can't actually do my vocation. So really take this time in your starting Shavasana just to rest and be in your body. So lying either on your back, or if you're pregnant, you can lie on the side and just settling into your body, into your breath. We are just at the beginning of our session, and we're starting in Shavasana, or Relaxation Pose. And if you're unfamiliar with that, traditionally Shavasana, you're lying on your back, arms by the side, palms facing up, legs a bit apart, and just allowing the body to surrender to the ground and being held by the earth. If this is uncomfortable in your body, then bend the knees. And for the pregnant yoginis, hello. For the pregnant yoginis in the room, lie on your side. So again, if you're just joining, then take time to settle onto your mat and really take this opportunity to connect with how you feel this morning. You don't have to feel a specific way. You're just observing how you feel this moment. Your body, your energy. as you're resting in Shavasana, preparing for movement and breath, then notice how your breath is moving through the body. How does the body breathe? Are you holding tension that you can let go of? Tension maybe in your physical body, maybe mentally, emotionally, and usually that will be connected. So as some of us are lying on our back and some lying on the side, I will give alternative instructions. And those who are lying on the side, usually because you're pregnant, really listen to how your body is feeling, not the ego, and maybe just be a bit conservative with how much you are expressing the pose physically. So during pregnancy and for the new mothers in the group, you might feel that you have the potential to stretch, and which is wonderful, but you also have higher levels of relaxing in the body than usual. That fluctuates through our menstrual cycle anyway, but during pregnancy and postpartum even more. So you're not overstretching, you're just holding that energy in to nurture you, to nurture your baby or the healing of your birth and pregnancy. Take a deep breath in and deep breath out. Deep breath in. So if you're lying on your back, you're going to hug the knees towards your chest or maybe even towards your armpits and just stay here for a few moments. If you're lying on your side, you're going to take your top leg towards your outside of your chest, towards your armpit. So lying on the side, you can still hug that top leg in towards you and creating a bit of space in the hips. And so if you're lying on your side, you can come into a happy baby pose with one leg. If you're on your back, with both legs. So you can grab hold either to the little toe side of that foot or to the big toe, and again you're hugging your knee as if it could be in your armpit and the foot away from the sitting bones. So this is a variation if you're on your side, or maybe the variation looks like this. And if you're on your back, maybe you stay here, or maybe again knees towards the armpits. If you notice the whole of your bum sticks up, you take it back again, and you don't need to have your heels away from the sitting bones. You can just create that openness from sitting bones to the back of the knees towards your armpits. So the variation that works in your body. If you're lying on your side, you'll release and you'll roll onto the other side and repeat. So for the pregnant yoginis side lying, you roll onto the other side and hug the other top leg into the chest. If you're lying on your back, just enjoy staying in your child's or your happy baby pose for a little bit longer. Knees towards the chest or armpits, maybe lifting the heels away from the sitting bones. And then just notice how you feel. So if you haven't moved much today, it might still be waking up, your body feels tight. That's absolutely fine. You're not pushing or pulling. You're just exploring how your body feels at this moment. Wonderful. So just let that go. Really good. Perfect. If you're not on your side already, roll onto your side. And then let's meet sitting. So I'm going to sit on a bolster between my legs, and I'll sit towards the heels. Now we might not all have bolsters lying around us, so if you're happy just sitting on your heels, you can go ahead. You can sit on yoga blocks, you can sit on a lot of cushions. You can sit cross-legged. You want to be in a position that is comfortable for you. And here we can bring the palms together in front of our hearts. Just take a moment to connect to your heart, to your heart fire, your passions, your strength, your inner power. And so here from our hearts, we will start with a single Om. So let's breathe in. Wonderful, beautiful. So finding our seat, you will sit on our heels. First we'll simply just come into Shakti Mudra, Yoni Mudra, where you interlace your fingers, index finger and thumb pointing away from each other. So between your fingers you have this nice, like a diamond shape. So we can think of that as representing the yoni, the shape of the pelvic floor, which is obviously part of the yoni, the entrance. And it's that upward and downward moving triangle. So just sitting like this for a moment onto your heels, maybe your knees are wide apart, and just feeling that sense of being grounded and supported and stable. We'll just stay for a few moments, and you can connect here to any intention that you may have, a prayer you carry in your heart, an affirmation, whatever intention you may have for your practice. We'll start just with a simple breathing practice together. And we'll start to connect with the flow of the breath and that gentle heat of ujjayi pranayama. But we'll take it step by step. So you can interlace your fingers now. Index fingers are still pointing. You can cross the thumbs. And we will inhale, extend the arms above the head. Exhale slowly through the mouth. Hands point down. Breathe in through the nose or through the mouth. Exhale through the mouth. So you just do this in your own rhythm. So it might be really slow, it might be really quick, but we try to get that sound. So it's as if your exhale is through the throat. That so it's not going to be painful in the throat. It's just as if you could lengthen the breath with your exhale by making a sound. So if you know ujjayi pranayama, that ocean sound breath, see if you can get that on the inhale, breathing in through the nose. And maybe breathe through the nose or mouth out. So if that ujjayi pranayama in the throat is a challenge, just do a few exhales through the mouth, that sound. But if you're familiar with ujjayi pranayama, then get that I don't know if you can hear that on the phone, but it's just like a baby sleeping, or when you drop into meditation and there's that the waves of your breath in the throat. You'll keep that breath, but once again, once your hands are down, they can come into this Shakti Mudra, resting towards the earth or wherever it's easy to rest your hands. Again, feeling the ujjayi pranayama. So ujjayi pranayama is heating. So if you're pregnant, just do it very gently. Don't force it. You can drop in and out of it. So if you feel hot, then stop breathing this breath. But use it to lengthen and to focus the breath. Beautiful. So you can, as we start to move now, keep that breath going. Shift onto the hands and knees. Now shift onto my mat. And we'll keep that expansiveness of the breath, the contraction of the breath. We'll take our knees a little bit further away from the hips, so we're in like a plank position. And we'll just rock forward and backwards, but it's plank on our knees. So just rocking forward and backwards and feeling that strength and power. So it is as if you almost have a danda or a staff or stick from the crown of the head down to the tailbone along the spine. So obviously the spine is curved, so you're not in a completely straight back. As you shift forward, you can start to bend your elbows back into your rib cage. You can sit all the way to the heels, shift all the way forward. And we can start to get a little bit of heat. So finding a little bit of movement. You don't have to bend the elbows a lot. They can just bend a little bit. The movement is really getting that strength through your triceps, the back of your arms. So don't have any pain in your shoulders. And your shoulders are never going to go further down than your elbows. So this is like a half chaturanga dandasana. And you might even do that exhale through the mouth as you come forward. Beautiful. So from here, let's shift into a downward dog, spreading your fingers out, lift the knees, stretch your hips high, create space. So again, you check in with how you're feeling in your body. Do you want that straight, strong line? Do you want a bit more fluidity and you wriggle around a little bit? So again, this is your practice, it's your body. So you are listening to what your body needs right now. Beautiful. So let's step the feet wide apart. Walk your hands back to your feet, standing forward, bend. Inhale to look up and lengthen, and exhale, fold it all the way. Inhale to look up and lengthen, and fold it deeply. Beautiful. So pressing down into the feet, let's inhale, rise up to standing, and hands to the center of the heart. So we'll get a little bit more into the hips. So we'll take the feet apart, toes pointing slightly out, so you have that external rotation. You can bend your knees, forearms onto the thighs, so to support your knees or your pelvis, this is where you will stay. Otherwise, you can lower all the way into Malasana. We have done that quite a lot the last couple of weeks, but it's just a good way to open up into the hips. So lifting through the chest, come onto the hands and knees, extend your right leg behind you, keep the toes tucked under, hug your abdomen slightly in. So again, we are connecting to our solar plexus, to our Manipura chakra, so those places of fire. So imagine hugging in to harness that energy. Lift up into your shoulders, press into the ball of the right foot. You can stay here. You can extend your left arm out in front, opposite arm and legs. You can choose to extend that right leg behind you. So finding balance. Come back to the hands and knees. Reach that left leg behind you, press into the ball of the left foot. If you notice you drop down like this, lift up into the shoulders, draw the tailbone a bit to the pubic bone. Potentially a right arm out in front. Maybe lift the left leg. So again, finding strength and power. So staying in that pose, left leg behind you, right arm out in front. think about that central channel. You're hugging into the solar plexus, your power and strength, your Manipura chakra, that fire, your truth, your inner fire, even your digestive fire. So harnessing all of that energy. So we're in the waning moon, so this is a good time to put whatever we don't need into the fire, whatever we want to transform, it goes into this sacred fire. Come back to the hands and knees. Take your knees wide apart. We'll sit to the heels, elbows to the floor, look forward. Inhale, slide your chest forward, lift the elbows, lift your heart, tailbone slightly down. Round to sit to the heels. So this is a rolling cat. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, drawing back. Inhaling, rising up. Exhale, sit to the heels, elbows to the floor. The inhale, the heart comes forward, elbows lift, shoulders over the heels of the hands. You can extend your heart, and then sitting to the heels. So again, this can be really soft and sensuous, or it can be fierce and powerful. And as you're ready, we'll come back to the hands and knees. Step your right foot either between your hands or to the outside if you want the space. We'll harness that energy in our core again. So if you drop into your lower back, then connect to your Manipura chakra, your solar plexus, hugging it in. So you lengthen the lumbar spine, so we remain with that energy. You can choose to bend that front knee a bit, but you don't want to lose that fire in your belly. Interlace the fingers, index finger pointing forward again. This is the Kali Mudra we did when we're sitting. And we can inhale and lift the arms, maybe come into a back bend. As we exhale, we draw back and the arms just come shoulder distance or shoulder height. Inhale, exhale. So there's this little pulsation through the legs. Inhaling to rise, exhaling to extend. And you can follow with your gaze, you can follow your index finger. So the fire can cut through all the confusion, all our heaviness or anxiety. The fire will cut through it. Let's bring the hands to the floor. I'll take my hands to the inside. If you need more space, you can take your right foot further out to the side. We'll come into a spinal twist. So the right arm extends to the sky. So obviously if you're pregnant, really take plenty of space. Take that right foot really wide so you have space for your baby. But even if you're not, like me, I just enjoy space, so find space. Come down to the hands and knees. We'll step that right leg all the way behind us. Lift the foot towards the ceiling. Extend your left arm out in front. Then extend your left arm back. But keep that strength through your right buttock. So you're not grabbing hold of your ankle. You're just opening your chest, but you really lift through that right buttock. Come back to the hands and knees. Lift your left foot to the ceiling, right arm out in front. Again, you can extend that right arm behind you. Don't grab hold of the foot, but feel you're lifting through your buttocks. Bring the right hand to the floor, left foot steps forward, lift the chest, harness your sacred fire, your strength and power, the power of transformation. Hug it in, hands in Kali Mudra, so index finger pointing, thumbs can cross. On the inhale, the arms extend towards the sky. You can look towards your thumbs. And as you exhale, really reach and extend. So do it with purpose. The inhale, you rise. Exhale, hugging in. Inhale, rise as the pelvis drops. Exhale. exhale, hug all that energy into your core again. So Kali was born out of Durga, and Durga is in that, you can keep this movement going, perfect. So Durga was in this battle with the demons. Well, in fact, the gods were in the battle with the demons, and there was a prophecy saying that no man could ever win this battle. No man could conquer the demons. And so they called upon Durga, because Durga is the manifestation of the feminine, the goddess. So if no man could do it, perhaps the goddess could. Bring the hands to the floor. Again, I'll step that left foot out to the side, left arm to the sky. So another variation here is actually to put your right hand onto a block so you're a little bit higher. So stay in that spinal twist. And breathe. And so the goddess goes to war. Durga on her tiger or lion goes to war. So the goddess is also a warrior and protective and fierce. Bring the hands to the floor. Come onto the hands and knees. Downward facing dog or child's pose. So you can always drop into a child's pose anytime. Or even have the hips high, hit on the floor, or downward facing dog. So let's meet in a downward facing dog, everyone. Stepping the feet a little bit closer together. And we'll extend the left leg towards the sky. And then the left foot to the floor, downward dog. Inhale, right leg extends. And you'll step the foot all the way between your hands or to the outside. Left foot turns flat, we'll come into warrior two pose. Right leg bent, left leg straight. So because I'm facing away from you, I'll just come a little bit closer to the screen. So feel that openness, feel that strength. This is the warrior. So it might be Virabhadasana, or the name of Shiva, but we can embrace this also as a female goddess. So extending the arms, we can have that focus on the right fingertips. So we'll come into Durga Mudra, swinging that left arm all the way beyond the head and extend it away from us. Swing it all the way behind the head and behind us. So coming into this fluid movement in our warrior pose. And so this is again one of the teachings from Shiva Ray. So I want to honor that lineage, because she definitely inspired a lot of these practices. And so again, this can be very sensuous, it can be fierce, it can be furious, very dynamic. So Durga, swinging, releasing all the demons, whatever is clogging up inside our head, letting it go. Beautiful. Let's bring that right forearm to the right thigh, left arm beyond the ear, extended side angle pose. Stay here or fingertips to the floor, to your block. Stay breathing. Beautiful. So keeping that openness in the hips, keeping the breath moving in the body. Really nice. And breathe. So just feel the flow of the breath. We are not rigid, we are not linear, we are fluid. So the body breathes. How does it expand and contract? Wonderful. Really good. Keep it in you. Keep that fire rising. You can feel the emotions. That's absolutely fine. So from our extended side angle, warrior two pose. Bring the hands to the hips, straighten the legs. Turn the toes to the long side of the mat. We'll come into a forward fold. So again, if you need more support, bend your knees, forearms on the thighs, You can release the hands to the floor, grab hold of your big toes. You can grab hold of the opposite elbow. So whichever variation that you enjoy. And you could even enjoy that long exhale through the mouth again, that releasing breath. Really good. So last week we started on the left side, that lunar energy, but today it's a fire, it's a solar energy, which means that I'm changed the positions, I'm facing away from you, which is not so great. But let's come up again and turn those left toes out, right toe slightly in, warrior two pose. So now your left leg is bent, right leg is straight. And again, I'll just come to the screen so you can see what I'm doing. So warrior two, and again we'll come into that movement or mudra, the Durga Mudra, extending that right arm above the head, swinging it across. And again, you can really feel that movement from your heart, clearing whatever your demons are. So keeping this movement going. Releasing tensions, just finding space. And notice if you get so caught up in the arm movement that your base, your roots, your legs have gone out, then just stabilize, find that stability. Because a warrior needs her foundation. She needs her roots to be grounded so she can fight from a very supported place. Bring the left forearm to the left thigh. Right arm beyond the head, extended side angle. Again, you're welcome to bring the hands to the floor, up to your block. And here again, you're breathing. Extended side angle. Perfect. Just a couple of more breaths. So notice if you are easing out of the pose, collapsing. If there's too much fire building up and you need to ease up a little bit. So your body, your energy, you check in how you need to modify. That's the beauty of our home practice. And so from here, extended side angle, bring the hands to the mat, downward facing dog or a child's pose. Or you can choose to come into that rolling cat movement we did before, extending the chest forward. If you're used to your practice and you prefer plank pose, Chaturanga Dandasana, or into your back bend, then enjoy once or twice. And so from here we'll meet in a downward facing dog. And from your downward dog, extend the left leg behind you, one-legged downward dog, and both feet to the ground. Right leg extends. Step the foot between the hands, back foot flat, warrior two pose again. So now I'm facing you. So find that warrior two. And from here, we'll straighten the right leg. We'll come into triangle pose. Extend your right arm forward, release a hand to your thigh, your shin, the floor, a block. Left arm to the sky. And then again we'll create a little bit of fluidity. So we can extend the left arm all the way behind us, down to the floor and out in front. So just circling, maybe very slowly. Or maybe very dynamic. warrior two pose. Bring the hands to the hips, and then let's just enjoy having the feet maybe hip distance apart or shoulder distance. Bring the forearms to the thighs, extend for the chest. Release the jaw and the tongue. And you can stay here, or you can move to straightening the legs, maybe releasing the hands to the floor. And slowly rising up. Beautiful. So let's step the feet wide apart. Warrior two pose. Feel the alignments as fire is focus, and we need our alignment and our stability. Sometimes we need just to be on that boundary of our comfort, discomfort. If you're pregnant or healing from pregnancy and birth, then you ease off a little bit. Make the step a little bit shorter, a little bit wider. Straighten both legs, triangle pose. And again, extend that right arm all the way behind you, down to the floor and out in front. So just keeping this movement going, circling that upper arm. And just like before, you can feel that movement from the chest, so you're moving from your heart. Just moving with the breath, creating space, clearing. You know, this is that waning moon. This is this is such a beautiful time to invoke the energy of releasing, of letting go, because that will wane away as the moon grows darker. So it's a good time to invoke that in our being, the darkness where we can release things into. Let's bend that front knee and come onto your hands and knees. And so from your hands and knees, again, just rock forward and backwards into your little push-up. So the pregnant yoginis, you're very welcome to take your knees wide apart. Lovely. And so from our hands and knees, let's lift the right foot towards the ceiling, left arm out in front, stay here or extend your left arm behind you, maybe grab hold of your foot, and then embrace that openness. So again, really check in with yourself, especially if you're pregnant or postpartum, that you're not arching the back too much, you're still connecting to your solar plexus, to your manipura chakra. Keep the right foot high, step the right foot forward either to the outside or between the hands. Lift the chest all the way up. Beautiful. So we'll get a little bit more into the hips. So you can turn your left toe slightly in and then bring your fingertips to your left side. So I'm going to face towards the camera. So as you come into this position, you can start to sit towards that left heel and come forward. And just finding a little bit of movement in the hips, in the pelvis. Maybe you stay here in a seat, just stretching back, finding space in your inner thighs, space between the sitting bones. You might be up high, that's absolutely fine as well. So you check in what feels right for you. Let's face forward again. taking that right foot to the outside of the right hand if it's not there already. And again, you can lower down a little bit. So I'm going to give a lot of options here, so it's really important that you check in with you. And again, if you're pregnant, be conservative, maybe stay here on your fingertips, maybe even stay up here, maybe stay circular. Or you can choose to straighten the back leg if you're in your regular flow. You can lower down slightly. So you can take your right arm all the way underneath the right thigh, left arm out to the side, and you bend your elbows out. Keep pressing into the left foot. Elbows stretching out. And you're lowering down as far as you can through your heart. And you breathe. So whatever variation you are in, you find your breath. Maybe that ujjayi breath again, if that's even possible. That slow inhale, exhale. So we can invoke the vehicle of Durga, the tiger, the lioness, you know, just hunting really low to the ground. Everyone bring the left knee to the floor. Step your right leg all the way back, down the dog or a child's pose. You can circle on the hands and knees. You can come into a plank pose or down into a back bend. There are always options. Really nice. So finding that invocation that you need in your body today. So even the sun is coming out. So I love the sun, but I think it's not so great for the video. So beautiful. Let's meet on the hands and knees. From the hands and knees, lift the left foot to the ceiling. Again, feel that strength with the buttock. The right arm can come all the way around. Maybe you stay in your variation. Hands on the floor or arms behind you. Maybe you grab hold of the foot. Lifting through your heart. And then right hand to the floor, left leg out in front. So again, you can turn that right foot in, start to sit towards your heel, finding space in your inner hips. Maybe you just make little circles. Shifting to face the front of the mat again. Again, really listen into what your body needs, your energy needs. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you step that right knee further back. And again, if you're pregnant, that might be where you stay. Maybe you even have hands on the floor or forearms on your blocks. Hands or forearms on the block or bolster. Maybe you come into that lioness that's out hunting for food to feed her cubs. Then you can take your arms out to the side, lower as far down as you can as you straighten the back leg. As if you are on that hunt. Just staying really quiet. Even your breath is slow and steady. And maybe you are Durga riding on the tiger. And you breathe. Just a couple of more deep breaths. Or as deep and slow and extended. Bring that right knee to the floor. Come back to your hands and knees. And just take a few moments like you are the big cat that you can just stretch out, wriggle around a little bit. Now, how does the body want to move and to flow? Maybe you're in child's pose, maybe you're in a downward dog. And so from here we'll come to sitting, and either you sit on the floor with your feet out in front of you. If that feels like a challenge, you sit on your block or your cushions or even on your bolster, and just lifting through the chest, find a little bit of space and breathe. If comfortable, close the eyes. And so here we'll stay breathing, but we'll start to connect the breath to the pelvic floor. So we'll start with the bigger muscles around the pelvis. So in this variation, just for a few moments, squeeze your buttocks really hard, as if you could lift yourself off your block. And then just release. So squeezing the buttocks really hard and release. Squeezing the buttocks hard and release. So really feel that tension through the glutes and release. Good. Then relax the buttocks completely, relax the pelvic floor completely. And then we'll just see if we can come into this Ashwini Mudra. Ashwini is the connection to the anus. So we'll do pelvic floor practices, but right now it's just through the anus. So we can work with the breath. So on the exhale, imagine that sense of having to pass wind, and you try to hold it, and then you release it. So on the inhale, you release. Exhale, imagine you can lift the anus upwards. And as you inhale, just relax. Exhale, feeling that lift through the anus and release. So just your own rhythm. And notice that your buttocks remain just completely relaxed. There might be a little bit of connection, but it's a pelvic floor, not your glutes. And if everything is moving, that's absolutely fine. If there's no connection, that's fine as well. You keep practicing, and eventually the body will reconnect. Perfect. So just relax that for a moment. You can stay sitting like this. If you do have a lot of cushions or bolsters, you can sit astride your bolster, your cushions. You can sit on your heels. You can sit in any other position that you like. And this time we'll do the same movement, but we'll work with the front of the pelvic floor. So the inhale again, we just relax the pelvic floor. As you exhale, the sensation is that you have to pee, you hold it. The inhale, it just relaxes again. So you can have your hands on your body. I still like that Yoni Mudra, so you can stay with that because that's the connection with the pelvic floor. So now the sensation is if you have to pee, you hold it on the exhale. Inhale, relax. And don't worry about the breath. If you just do the movement and keep breathing. Perfect. And then we'll just do one more practice. So for the yoginis in the room, this is really our yoni mudra, the connection to the vaginal canal. And this is what we focus on now. So if there are men, or male anatomy practicing with us today, then you can think of the perineum. But for female anatomy, the vaginal canal. So here you can imagine, again, you're rising as if the vaginal canal moves towards each other, the walls move into each other and up towards the cervix. So you might feel everything moving, you might feel nothing is moving, but the intention is the connection to the vaginal canal, engaging, rising to the cervix, rising up, and then the inhale just open. And if the whole body wants to move, that's fine too. Three more breaths. Wonderful. Perfect. So when you're ready, shift back to your hands and knees. And just take a few moments again, just moving on the hands and knees, finding a little bit of fluidity in the body. Stretching towards the heels. So even that movement stretching to the heels, you start to stretch the pelvic floor so it can relax again. And so we'll meet sitting, just in a cross-legged position, maybe on a block if that feels good. So here again I'll give options. This week we've been doing arm balancing. On Wednesday we did crow pose, Thursday we did side crow. So Bhagasana variations, and today we'll do a different variation. Now, if you're pregnant, that might not be that's not a good option for you. Obviously, if that's kind of your regular practice, you're doing it all the time, I'm not gonna say what you should or shouldn't do, but generally in pregnancy, not really necessary. So the option for the pregnant yoginis in the room, we'll start to do this together. Just come in from your cross-legged position, just lift one foot up so the knee points out, and you're bringing your elbow and your knee together in a little twist. Now you can stay with the breathing practice and the pelvic floor practices, but otherwise you just come into this little twist. Or you come into your Sahajya movement, which is just spontaneous movement, however your body wants to move and flow. You can all embrace that version. If you want to come into an arm balance, you come into a wide-legged step, bringing your forearms onto your thighs and really extend your hips out. So we almost come in a moment into a variation of child's pose, or knees to the chest, happy baby pose rather. So really feel that extension through your hips, heart forward. We're going to plant our hands to the inside of our legs. And as we do that, the elbows are going to bend back. So again, we have that little shelf on our upper arms. So as you start to shift back, then we can sit on our upper arms. So think of sitting on your upper arms. Your arms want to move out to the side. Your pelvis, your hips are heavy. So you need to get that exhale. We worked up with the pelvic floor, that lifting in and up. We need that action in this variation because the feet will eventually come off the ground. So when you're ready, shifting onto your hands, elbows hugging in, you can get that lift with the pelvis. You can walk your feet together, so I'm close between my legs. Maybe you take one foot, maybe both feet off the ground. You can cross your ankles, and again you start to lift through the belly, through the pelvic floor, rounding in. Wonderful. So again, it might take a little while, and really honor your wrist mobility. So it's not just hanging out on your forearms, but you get that lifting in and up, that exhale, And it might just be that you stay in these variations. It might be that you are just trying. Shifting back, maybe you stay with both feet on the ground, getting that hugging in through the elbows. Maybe you walk your feet closer together. Maybe you stay on one of your feet, just the toes. Maybe you lift both feet off the floor. Maybe you cross and you feel that lift, 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 lift. And eventually take a moment to calm down. If you're up there and you're like, yeah, I'm finally getting it, stay for a moment. If you're in your twisting variations, just twist to the opposite direction. So if you're twisting, just twist to the opposite direction. Let your wrist relax. Extend both legs out in front, but take a wide-legged step. Again, if you're hypermobile, just take it in a little bit. Circle the ankles. And so we've been harnessing all that fire drawing in. So we'll stay a little bit with that. And maybe for you that's just staying sitting upright, maybe with the knees bent, maybe sitting on your bolster. Maybe little by little, you can start to feel the shift to the front of your sitting bones. So just closing the eyes if you are comfortable with the eyes closed. Allowing the breath to guide you. Slow it down. You are in no rush at all. Really lovely. You might even be able to slow the breath a little bit deeper, a little bit longer. And again, that intention of surrendering your personal demons to the fire. That's really great, beautiful. And slowly walk your hands towards you again, so you sit all the way up. Take your feet a little bit closer together and hug your knees to your chest. You can drop the head to your knees and have a few moments just being and drawing inwards into the darkness. So we'll stay here for a few breaths. So again, unfortunately on Instagram we only have an hour together. So that means in a moment it will switch off and I will switch on straight away. So we will meet hugging the knees in. But if you're on Instagram, you have a little moment where you need to find me again. And if you're on Facebook, you should be able to stay and simply breathe. And sometimes just looking into that darkness can be scary, and I think for a lot of us, whether you are, if you're self-isolating a lot like me, I'm doing this for work. So there can be a lot of navel gazing, and our demons will come up. And for those who are really working out in the public, whether you're emptying bins, being a postman or postwoman, or working in the health service, in the shops, you are feeling that energy. So allowing yourself to see that darkness, feel the fire just burning what really is your stuff, letting that release. So from here, let's just stretch the right leg out in front. So if you're pregnant, allow space for your bump to come to the side. Left arm to the inside of the right leg. Left leg. Left arm, left leg. And just enjoy an open spinal twist. We are open to it. And come forward again, stretching your left leg out, bend your right knee, right elbow to the inside of your right leg, and just that gentle spinal twist. Face forward again and bend both knees. And we'll keep the knees bent. So I'll give a couple of options. So if you're pregnant, just stay seated. Or if you're uncomfortable on your back, just stay seated. So otherwise you'll lie down like this. So back, knees bent. If you are pregnant and being on your back or lifting the hips off the floor doesn't work for you, then you're staying seated, so especially later stages of pregnancies. So we will come into a back bend. So options here. I'll start with the lying down on the back variation. From here, arms can be by your side, tailbone can lift, and you can lift your hips. So now if this is comfortable in pregnancy, no problem at all. You might do this more dynamic, coming up and down. We're not going to be here for a long time. So if you're doing this variation just in your own time, you can release down to the floor, you can release back up again. Now if this is not an option for you during your pregnancy, then you can enjoy camel pose. So you can lift the chest, hands onto your lower back or sacrum, elbows hugging in, but really savoring all that hugging in we did. That's still there, that's still supporting you, that's still giving you that fire. But you can still lift your heart, you can still open the chest. And again, whether you're doing camel pose like I'm demonstrating at the minute, or bridge pose, just take a few moments coming in and out of your variation. And if you're just in Shavasana and you're like, I'm not moving anymore, that's fine too. Otherwise, a minute or so for your practice, your back bend, just very gentle, just before we come into relaxation. Just that openness, all that fire in our Manipur chakra, our solar plexus, all that fire, open it up so it doesn't burn you out. Bring that light out wherever it needs to manifest, whatever it needs to manifest. If you're on your back, then slowly relax the pelvis to the floor, and only once it's on the floor and you have a few breaths, you can hug your knees to your chest. If you have done the Ustrasana, so the kneeling variation, maybe just come into a child's pose for a moment. And then we will start to move to relaxation pose. So again, if you're pregnant, you can lie down. We usually say lie down on your left side. But if left hip is really achy, lie down on your right, wherever you're comfortable. You might be reclining on lots of cushions and blocks and bolsters, which is absolutely fine. If you're lying on your back and your knee is tender, then bend your knees. So just lying in your relaxation. Really nice. And so Durga, this beautiful goddess on her tiger, who is so protective. She is the protectiveness, she is the mother. But she is also fierce. So when she was called for battle, because no man could ever win this battle, the goddess was called because the gods would never win. And Durga was swinging her sword and killing all these demons. But as soon as she killed one, it would rise again. And so she manifested Kali through her third eye. And Kali as a goddess looks fierce and scary. She has skulls around her neck. She has a tongue sticking out of her mouth full of blood. But when she entered the battlefield, when she killed a demon, she would lick up the blood and the demons would fall. So in the end, the battle between the demons and the divine, the gods or goddesses, the devas, Kali helped to win that battle. She won it. The goddess won it. And so sometimes we need that fierce, fiery, angry energy. Sometimes we need to ignite that fire of the warrior goddess. However we choose to go into battle. We don't all have to be on the battlefield. Some of us have to nurse the wounded. Some of us have to find strategies. Some of us simply have to hold space. Some of us have to deliver and cook the food. Or care for the loved ones. So we all have our place, even if we feel we do nothing, we are doing something. So rest into this space just for a few more moments. relaxation. Feel that the jaw and the tongue can relax. The belly is soft. That sweet surrender. So we all need rest. We all need rejuvenation and regeneration. So truly honor this moment of being rather than doing. This is the time of digestion. As we are slowly moving up to the 75 minutes, and I know some of you have commitments and families, so you are shifting out of the pose already, so thank you for joining us. And for the rest of you, if you have time and space, stay in Shavasana, just lie there, stay resting. But if you have this 75-minute slot, then slowly roll to the side, and you'll, in your own way, just move the body a bit to come up to sitting. It's again always an option for you to just stay resting, just being in your relaxation pose, because we need it. But if you're ready to finish, just come up to a comfortable seat. And I'll show you the manifestation of the Durga and Kali as you come up in a minute. And so finding your seat, and if you're joining late, you can join us later or see the replay. So finding your seat, maybe just bring your hands at your heart in a prayer, and taking this moment to truly honor that you committed to your practice, to connect to your inner fire, to your heart fire, to your purpose, your strength, your inner flow. And so in a moment we'll conclude with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, and I'll show you a quick manifestation of Durga and Kali. So let's take a deep breath in together. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. And so while we were practicing, I actually have my little icons of, this is the manifestation of the goddess. So this is Durga on her tiger, with all her hands on, she's not on the battlefield, she looks very calm and serene on this manifestation of her, but fierce on her tiger. And we have Kali, and she is, oops, so we have Kali here, and Kali is with her skulls around her neck and the arms, the bones of arms as a skirt, stepping on the demons, so whatever our demons may be. So this is the beautiful Kali Ma, and yeah, so a little bit of manifestation of the fierce goddesses today. As the moon is waning, we have the darkness of the sky, a good time to release stuff. So again, if you're interested in that, if you're not on my newsletter, if you sign up, I have a little ebook that you get when you sign up, or send me a message if you're on my newsletter and you never downloaded it. And again, thank you so much for joining me. Absolutely pleasure to teach you again, and teach with some of my favorite manifestations of the goddess. And the classes are just free or donation based, so to support me while I'm teaching like this and not in person, you can do a donation through my PayPal, which is on the link. in my profile on yogaembodiedonline.com/hello, or yogaembodied.com on the classes section. That should be there as well. And another wonderful way that you can share is simply just press the share button or write a comment for me. So we gone through last week with the flow and movement in the hip for the full moon, the fire in our core this week, and arm balancing. So hips last week, core and arm balancing this week. So they have been suggestions that you guys have sent me because that's something you wanted to practice. Next week we come into the dark moon, and it will just rise into the new moon in the middle of the week. So we will open up and free our chest and shoulders and neck. Shoulders and neck are always something that people want to do. But if you have any suggestions that you want to practice, or a theme that you want me to weave into the physical class maybe, then let me know. And if you have comments, you can write in comments now as well, and I'm here. So if you have anything you want to write, then I can hopefully see it. I'm not always entirely sure. But if you watch later on, another time, again, you can write a note or send me a message, and that's always wonderful to hear from you. So you might still be in Shavasana and chilling out, so enjoy if you are, but I'm going to switch off. So namaste, thank you so much, thank you.